going to show you how I use Tombow markers for urban sketching and which markers I use. So you can decide if this is even your style. I'll show you a few of mine. I drew this inside a hardware store and I drew it with a Tombow Fudenosuke pen and then Tombow markers for the color. Let me give you a couple more examples. This building was done on location, again with this Tombow Fudenosuke pen and other Tombows for color. And then let me skip ahead. While some of these have watercolor in the background, there's also markers, and it's kind of the same idea, which is that I put the color down pretty light and then I draw on top of it. These also are a mixture of Tombow markers and a little bit of watercolor. The reason I do both is sometimes I just don't have a marker that's the exact color I want, but I can always mix it with watercolor. So I do a little bit of both. This is a combination of both. This is watercolor, but it could have easily been marker. And then this was all marker as the background and then colored pencil on top. And this is all marker as well with colored pencil on top. So you can see that the markers are like lighter background colors or watercolor, and then I draw on top and add deeper, richer, more intense colors with colored pencil or something else. Or sometimes the whole drawing is just black and white and there's just a little bit of color behind it. So having said that, if that seems like it's kind of like your style and something you might like to try, let me show you what Tombows I take with me when I go out. First, I take a range of grays. If you're interested in the numbers, it's N15, N55, N52, and N95. And I'm just going to show you what those look like. So black, obviously. And then I've got a warm gray here, which is the N55. And the N52 is a cooler version of that same gray. These are just great for shadows and just adding a little depth. And then a light one, N95. This is also good for maybe the color of the road, you know, pavement, cloudy skies. So I start with those four. Those grays are really important to me. And then a few other light colors that I use a lot of times for just the ground. So this could be sand, it could be a dirt road, it could be a lot of things. 850, it's kind of an apricot pink color. It's great for beaches. This is 020, which is a very light golden yellow color, great for like sunlight hitting the pavement, for example. And then 990 is a more neutral, warm, this is like sandy beach, or again, it could just be the road. And these are super light, but again, I'm drawing on top of them. So more of the color and intensity is going to come from drawing. And then the third category is I want some blues for sky and water. And I want a couple of greens for trees and foliage, but mostly I draw that with colored pencil. So this is 491, which is a light blue. This is a slightly different light blue. Tombow makes a lot of light blues, so you actually have a lot of choices. This is 451, a little bit more intense. Those are kind of duplicates, honestly. This is 553. I don't use this one as much, but that's just a nice ultramarine blue. This is the kind of thing I might swap out from time to time with another color. I think it's a little optional. This one is absolutely essential. Oops, I think this is 188 or 133. I'm actually not sure, but anyway, it's a very bright green. A lot of times that's my base layer on foliage, trees, shrubs, whatever. And this 312 I found, 312 is great for like mountains off in the distance. You know, you can sort of imagine that way off in the distance. So a green that has really faded away. So I use that a lot for landscapes. And then because I'm doing urban sketching, I'm drawing a lot of buildings. So 985, this bright gold color, I just use a lot for light hitting things. And it's just a color I really like. So sometimes I put it in for no reason at all. A little bit of an optional color, I would say. 912 I think is really essential. It's a great color for buildings. And even if the building isn't that exact color, you know, you're going to be putting more stuff on top of it. And the point is the colors that you bring with you are going to dictate what's in your drawing. This is 026, an olive green kind of yellow ochre type color. A little bit of a neutral. It's one that I don't use quite as much, but I often have it with me. And then 947 is a little bit of a darker building color that, again, is not totally necessary. So some of these are optional. So, you know, if you start with a basic dozen, you've got room to maybe add a few. And then just so you understand what happens next is that I draw on top of these, right? With, this is this Tombow Fudenosuke pen that I really love. Or I draw on top with colored pencil maybe. So here's a little bit of green, but I might come in and, you know, do more with that. I might do a building in this kind of light coral color, but then come in and maybe I'm drawing windows here or a doorway or something else. So in every case, I've also got kind of a rich mixture of deeper, darker colors in pencil that are going on top, and I'm really thinking of these Tombows as background colors. And I'm always mindful that I also have a little watercolor kit with me, so I don't have to bring every color in the world with me. I can rely on watercolor to fill in the gaps if I don't have all the colors I need. All right, I hope that's helpful. Thanks so much.